Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another Rush Racing stream brought to you by AI369. I am your host, Dynasty Sparrow, and I am with the man who's normally on comms on the Saturday night in Andy. How you going, mate?
Yeah, I'm all good, thank you, Dynasty. Looking forward to a Tuesday night of racing for a change. Looking forward to it, mate. Should be good.
Yeah, you've arrived just in time for the best division. So it's been pretty
Absolutely.
it's been pretty good so far this season. So we are at Austria for our 100% race. It is looking like a dry one-shot qualifying, so we'll get straight over to the game because this is going to go pretty quickly. I'll let you take it away when we get going. So we're just waiting for everyone to choose their setups. No one has accidentally clicked go, which is good. So that means everyone should have their
Yeah,
setups on.
yeah. So looking at the championship, we've got three or four drivers who look like they are kind of in with a shout here. Three in particular in Thunderbolts, Edge, and Datura. So I'll try and find one of those guys to do a quick on board with.
Yeah, that's fine. We are underway, so
Uh,
you take it away and I'll get everything up and going. So
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they're changing so much.
Datura is Iraq lobster, by the way, just so you know, you're aware.
Yeah.
But as it's
Okay, so yeah, I mean, to be fair, mate, it's so difficult on one shot quality to do a decent commentary. But at the minute, it's Edge out in front in the Mercedes, Fish Lips in second, J-Man in third in the Haas with Skeese 27, currently sat P4. Fish Lips seems to have had a great middle part of sector two. He takes the lead as the guys head round turn number four, that
I've
long
I've
lasting
already seen a
right hander.
big name that's already dropped out. Thunderballs down in P19. He's
Wonderful,
invalidated
yeah.
first corner.
Wow, that is a big one for the championship, but his teammate is making an enormous big McLaren sandwich at the minute, or he was. It's now Edge leading the way as they come round turns 9 and indeed 10. Round that final turn we go. Who's going to invalidate on the final turn? That's the big question. China in the
Out of
kit, though,
nowhere.
takes pole position out of absolutely nowhere. Must have had a miraculous turn 9 and 10 in the kick Sauber to take pole dynasty.
Yeah, that was pretty nuts. He came from absolutely the cloud. Same with Flubber. They both, and within point 0.002 of each other. That's
Wow.
really good effort there. But there you have it. So China P1, Flubber P2, Fishlips P3, Edge P4. So even both of them within a 0.004 of each other. Iraq Lobster rounding out the top 5 with J-Man, Ninja Goo, David, Paul and Hell. So really good effort by the two Red Bulls. And Kick Sauber rounding out the top 10. So it's a Kick Sauber sandwich with Ski, Sick Party, White Wolf Woofer, Terry Tibbs, Coupon Sticks. So I believe, I'll just have a look. We have a
Oh,
raining
no.
race.
Oh, no. That is pretty damp out there, Dynasty, I have to say. It looks like the fans across above that DHL logo, other couriers are available, of course, are really kind of enjoying themselves, even though there's a bit of damp conditions. They must be undercover. I don't see any umbrellas.
Yeah, I don't think
But
the ones
yeah,
on the
a
top are.
wet race.
The ones right at the top on the balcony, I don't think they're undercover, but they're
They're
enjoying
not
themselves
undercover
out in the
now.
rain. As we see, we are actually like the third glass box in there, just overlooking the pit straight.
Absolutely. To be honest, mate, looking at some of the weather here, I don't see any puddles in the pit lane. There might be some on the track. Do we think this is going to be full wets, or will people gamble go on the intermediates because we think there's going to be a dry line within like 3 or 4 laps anyway?
Um, Unfortunately, this game has a known bug where the intermediates are quicker, no matter
Yeah.
how wet it is. Unfortunately, it's just a game-breaking bug in my opinion, where Div 4 had it, where it was absolutely torrential rain, but the Inters pretty much after a lap were the fastest tyre on the track and off and gone. So it'll be interesting to see who picks what. I don't think Div 6 will be um, knowledgeable of that, so we'll probably see most or if not all of the grid on the wet tyres to start with. But I wonder if it's going to stay wet though. That would be the interesting
Hmm.
thing.
Yeah, well, 100% race. Oh, go on. You take it away, my friend.
We have 5 red lights, and we are off and gone to the races. A good start by the Kick Sauber, but the actual McLaren didn't even move from the start there. He had a
Yeah,
very
horrible
bad
start
start.
from Fish Lips. Terrible start from Fish Lips. And he actually came into contact with VSC Paul in Hell as well, and down in P12 now. They came together, 5 places separate them. They race up the hill towards the notorious turn number 3. In wet conditions, it's going to be really difficult to stop these cars. It doesn't look terribly wet, though. I don't see any
No,
puddles on the track here,
everyone
Dempsey.
everyone is on inters, so it must be just a little bit of a stint of rain to dry. So it's going to be very interesting. We didn't see any carnage into turn 1 or turn 2, which is good, or turn 3. So that's really good to see. They've absolutely cleaned it up from a couple of weeks back. So we've got Flubber, who's taken the lead, followed by China, followed by Iraq Lobster, and then Edge, rounding out the top 4. J-Man David, who's up a couple spots, Ninja Goof, Fish Lips, Terry Tibbs, Ski up a position, Paul and Hell unfortunately losing out a couple of positions there. And we got Thunderballs trying to make his way through the pack here. Oh, there's massive. That is a massive crash. I don't even know what has happened. The Alpine has just went flying across the track, and
Oh.
yeah, so that is. I don't know who was at fault for that. I just saw a car just going flying across the track and taken out. So I'm sure that will be investigated. That is not a good start. Not a good start considering it was lap 1.
No, and it's is it a full safety car?
No, it's
No,
not.
it's
It is
only
a
a virtual.
virtual, which is
It's only a
surprising.
virtual safety car.
He shot from one
It
side
is,
of the
and
track to another. So,
Milano, by the way, didn't pit, and he's got front wing damage, pretty significant front wing damage as well. He's lost the right end plate. He's sat down in P17 now. Joe Beef is one of our drivers who picked up a 10-second penalty there for contact, severe collision, as did Terry Tibbs, currently sat in P9 in the Aston Martin. So I'm just going to have a quick look at the Aston Martin, see if he's got damage.
yeah,
Doesn't look like the Aston Martin does.
drive through for Milano as well. So that RB with that wing damage got to drive through. He looks like he's lagging over the place. So I wouldn't be surprised if maybe lag was a factor in that crash, because he is glitching backwards every couple
Oh my
seconds.
God, yeah, he is.
So Milano, if you are listening, or if an engineer is listening, yeah, maybe it might be time to call it a night pretty early, because I've just seen him lag back a fair amount. I
Yeah,
mean,
I
actually,
just saw
no.
him take
If you're
turn
that,
8 twice,
yeah, yeah, and he's yeah.
3 times. He's just taking it again.
Yeah, he's still in sector 3 coming up the hill for me. He's coming over the hill. He'll probably lag back here. No, he's coming in the pits.
Yes,
He's
he
fixing
does.
his wing. At least he'll be in his own fresh air, so that would be good to see. So we'll go back up to the top. We've got moves happening between J-Man and China. So China, unfortunately, losing out a couple positions there. At the moment, though, Flubber is absolutely loving these conditions. And is off
Yeah,
and
China
gone.
down 4, isn't he?
Yeah, he certainly is. So if we go to... We'll go to position changes. So we've got Flubber up 1, Iraq Lobster up 3 positions, Edge up 1, J-Man up 2, China down 4, David up 2, Ninja Goose staying where he is. Fish Lips with, unfortunately, that horrible start off the line, P8 losing out 5. Terry Tibbs up 6, but with a 10-second. So unfortunately, he will not be able to get that removed because we are going 71 laps. He will need to serve it. That will be a 10-second stop go. Ski is at P10, so not in a bad spot. Paul and Hell right behind. Sick Party right behind him. And Filthy Orange with Thunderballs and White Wolf running at the top 15. And Woofer following close behind. And unfortunately, early contact with Milano, Joe Beef and Coop on sticks caused them to be about 35 seconds down, Andy.
Yeah, long way back, unfortunately, for these guys. I suppose the good news for Flubber, obviously there's no DRS for those of you that are new to Formula One. There is no DRS in these conditions. DRS will get activated once we get a dry track and no rain. A little bit of inside intelligence from the pit lane. I think Ted must be wandering up and down with his notebook. It looks like this is a 70% wet race here, Dynasty. So that means a couple of stints on intermediates and maybe a dry finish.
Yeah, potentially, or maybe it might go wet to dry. We did see that, sorry, wet dry to wet, because we did see that in Div 4. It started off wet, went dry, and then it started raining again. It was kind of an awkward situation because you didn't know whether to box for inters for the next 8 or so laps when it did rain. It made things very awkward. But no, it'll be interesting to see how long this rain stays. It looks like it's lightening up a little bit, but then as I said that, looking down the pit straight, it's actually bucketing down more.
Yeah, absolutely. Ninja Googe just taking P6 there from David. And David's dropped all the way back down to P9. So something wrong with David at turn number 1. Edge up in P3 at the moment in the Mercedes, close behind the Aston Martin of Iraq Lobster. Flubber, though, in that Ferrari, loving these wet conditions. Over 2 seconds out in the front of the lead now as he moves into turn number 4 with the Aston Martin and Mercedes in close contention. Closely followed as well by J-Man China. We do have yellow flags in Sector 3, and that looks like, again, more problems perhaps for Milano.
Joe Beef just lost his wing. I saw them two come to contact. I think it might be the lag that played effect there. So just keep an eye on him for a second because see if he does lag back a little bit. But no, he still has that wing damage, so he hasn't fixed that at all. He did come into the pits though, so
yeah, he had a drive-through. All he's done is do the drive-through.
Yeah, so unfortunately he needs to probably fix that wing. That's hampering his race. But maybe actually I might have saw damage there to the McLaren of Thunderbolts. I might be wrong. Is it the front left that's missing, or no? It's not. Definitely isn't. So it's good. But no, it'll be interesting to see if Flubber's running a wet setup. So maybe the higher wings, and he's able to take control of that car through the cornering and get away.
Yeah, absolutely. Meanwhile, Thunderball trying to move on the inside of Filthy Orange there at turn number 3. He's got his nose out in front, but Filthy Orange will have the better drive out of that corner for the wider line and will retake P13. Thunderball's working hard, though. Already we said, up from P19 up into P14 here on lap 6 of 71, 100% race in Rush Racing League, of course, this weekend for Divisions 2 through 6. And yeah, it's a very long race. I think mostly Dynasty, we have to concentrate, if you're a driver, you have to concentrate on being a little bit careful as Thunderballs actually does go into the back of Filthy Orange there as he lost an end plate. Now, yeah, he has now. What you say does indeed become fact, and he's carried on. So he's lost that right end plate after coming into contact with the kick saber of Filthy Orange. He's carrying on, though.
Yeah, that's going to hinder the race, though. That right end plate, especially through Sector 2 and into Sector 3, that'll slow you down a little bit, especially when it starts drying up. Not so much in the wet, so he could probably hold out for a bit until you do have to box for those dry tyres.
Excuse me.
But yeah, potentially, two-door. As Thunderbolts does make a position up on Ski. So he goes up to P13. Now, Ski is in P14, so he might be running a drier setup. So apparently, according to chat, we've got... Oh, Thunderbolts nearly misses his braking zone there. We've got about 10 more minutes of rain until this track starts to dry up. We see a dry line happening, though.
Yeah, dry line happening. A couple of guys, obviously, with big penalties that they want to get rid of, probably as soon as possible. Dry line forming. Still rain falling from the sky, though. So Flubber sets a new fastest lap. That's immediately bested by Iraq Lobster. 2.6 seconds, the gap now out in front. 2.8, 2.7, 2.9. It's, it extended the gap. Flubber surely has a wet setup on.
Yeah,
because he's making this time up in all the corners.
He just got a free second for cutting the corner.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
That brings Iraq Lobster, Edge, and J-Man with China back into it. But we're starting to see the gaps starting to form. So there was a lot of 2 second gaps to each other. There was a couple of people within a second, but over this race distance, I'm sure we'll see the whole pack split up.
Yeah, I would have thought so, mate. With some of the quicker guys, certainly once it gets dry, and if that's the last 30% of the race, then you're still talking about what, another probably about 15 to 20 laps worth of dry racing towards the end. If indeed that weather forecast is accurate. Um, I suppose the other things to note here as well is that we've got Fish Lips has managed to consolidate his bad start just down in P8 now, closely followed by David. Sick Party is second off the back. And a couple of guys who are just kind of a little bit lonely at the moment. So Paul in Hell, a little bit lonely. Filthy Orange does have Thunderballs for company. A little bit lonely will be Terry Libs, 1.8 off the back of Ninja and a second clear of Fish Lips. But these times can actually close down pretty quickly, can't they, in these conditions?
Yeah, yeah, and these the front runners are catching these back markers as well. So Joe Beef and Milano will be the first ones to get caught, especially with that wing damage. I believe both of them have wing damage actually, so they are going to be hampering their drive significantly. So hopefully, when the pack catches them, they box and just move out the way and keep going on their business. Because yeah, you're better off just staying alive and just keep racing because you could
Oh,
just get a point.
Joe Beefs has just taken a very, very wide line through 9 and 10 with that front right wing plate, end
Oh,
plate
someone's
damage.
spun. That is White Wolf off onto the grass. So unfortunately, he's touched the outside too much, a little bit of the grass, and has spun his car completely. So here's another fast driver who's not enjoying the wet conditions here.
Mm.
So maybe it might be time to just get another pair of inters if you're a White Wolf. Maybe just try get a new set on, and then just burn to the dry to the dry track. Try to do the
Yeah,
undercut.
I think so. I think so. I think I'd probably try and certainly if I was one of the three guys at the back now, I'd probably be trying to throw some fresh intermediate tyres on as we see Ski in the Mercedes just moving across to the wet just to try and keep the heat down in his intermediates. He's all over the back of Woofer. Woofer had overtaken him on the home straight at the start of lap 10. But yeah, that gap ever increasing at the front, over 4 seconds now between Flubber and Iraq, which that 3 second penalty is covered off. 13 seconds to Terry Tibbs and 3 seconds to Milano. So Terry will have to serve 10 seconds of that on that stop and go.
Yeah, yeah. So unfortunate for the Aston, he cannot get out of that 10 seconds. So that will hurt his race. But it is a long, long race. So yes, he'll lose out 10 seconds, but it's not the end of the world.
No, absolutely not. Long old race. He's got Fishlip's a couple of seconds behind him now. Fishlip's still got David for company with Sick Party not too far behind in the Williams. Still a lonely race for the Red Bull of Paul and Hal. 2.4 seconds behind Sick Party. 1.8 seconds clear of Filthy Orange. Made up half a second gap there all of a sudden. Sick Party must have had a little bit of a mistake, but then has got the pedal to the metal and extended that down up to 3.2. Whoa, a little bit of a wobble there from Flubber going into turn 6. On the exit of turn 7 now through turn 8, he goes down towards Stein, and he is catching those guys, that horse of Joe Beef and Milano. He's catching those guys rapidly at the minute, and I think
They're going to get blue
I'd be
flagged.
wanting to get I'd be wanting to get out of the way if I have those two guys. I'd throw those fresh intermediates on. It would bring me out, of course, smack bang in the middle of that chasing pack, but at least you've got the upper hand in terms of tyres.
Yeah, yeah. So I wonder if we are seeing that he has got a wet setup on. Unfortunately, we did have an incident during this season that someone has raced on an alt account, unfortunately, and decided to sandbag their way into Division 6. So I hope that's not the case tonight. But I think Hopefully, it's just the wet setup and that these guys behind
Yeah.
him, like Edge and Rock Lobster, have the dryer set up so when it does kick over the dry, they'll be well and truly up there.
Yeah, and again, we've got to remember that in terms of wet weather, it's always a little bit more of a it increases those gaps. Some guys are much better in the wet than others because they do a bit of practice, whereas others don't. So the wet weather does tend to increase the gaps we see in the field. We can see it in the field across the board, can't we? It's very unusual after 12 laps that you've not got at least two big old DRS trains. No DRS train, of course, because DRS isn't active, but you'd expect people to be a lot closer to each other if it was a dry track.
Yeah, yeah, that's exactly right. So we've got the back markers who just did get out the way of Flubber, so they're probably going to get blue flagged again. One of the Husses is getting blue flagged as we speak, so he'll probably try and get out the way, but it's kind of hard when people are overtaking each other on the straight. Yes, he does. He holds to the right, moves back on the racing line, probably a little bit too early, but that's fine. He'll get out the way of his other teammate, I would say. Yep, he stays right. Staying right, which is good. Staying out the way. So now the next one is the Milano in the RB. So Rock Lobster will catch him. Got moves happening here. Sick parting David swapping positions. Paul and Hell starting to catch up to David as well. But currently it's just at a standstill in this backpack. No one's really moving anywhere. They're just keeping the distance. Not looking to make any audacious moves.
Oof. Iraq Lobster just struggling through turns 9 and 10. It allowed Edge to catch up ever so slightly. Then Edge had himself a little moment coming out of 10, final turn.
Everyone's starting to
That
slide.
just means,
Everyone is starting to
yeah,
slide out of that turn.
yeah, they're sliding out of the turn. That's just allowed, though, Flubber to gain nearly another full second on these guys. Just a quick note, by the way, the rain stopped. So there is now no rain. Still a little bit of a damp track. You can see that there is a dry line still, so a little bit of wet. But I don't think it's going to be too long if the conditions stay as they are from the sky until we see some of these guys dive in and throw on some slick tyres here, Dynasty.
Yeah, I think so. And I think you'll find if Edge and the Ruck Lobster can try and work together, they'll be able to pull in, well, potentially pull in Flubber. We have yellow sector 2. That is looked like a Red Bull round. I think it was.
It's Milano off track, just trying to let guys past in that chasing group. So he's just let 5 cars through. The Alpine, a
Okay.
couple of Red Bulls kick, and a McLaren.
Yep. So that's good to see that both him and the Haas did let people by, so that's good. Flubber's just picked up in the fastest lap again. Iraq Lobster. Here's the first one to go on the pits. Oh! Terry Tibbs is around last corner. Oh, don't come back on. Don't come back on. People are still there. Careful, careful, careful. Alright, they're on. He's on.
Medium tyres for Iraq Lobster. He's made the move, the first to do so.
Is it going
And
to
the
be
first to
too
do
wet?
so by a wide margin. It feels a little bit early, but we just need to keep our eye on that gap. He's going to come out just behind the.
So,
Is it Milano he's just come out behind?
I
Yeah, it
think so,
is.
yeah. I've got gap to leader on, so be able to see if he is pulling in the leader or not. Um, at this rate, he is losing time by a lot.
Yeah, it seems to feel like almost a lap early, but I think once he's got these mediums up to temperature, I reckon another lap or two, you can still see
He's lost so
a
much
little bit of
time.
a moist. Yeah, he's lost over 2 seconds already. Oh, that is a very wide Haas.
Then
That's
again,
Joe
the
Beef.
leader is boxing. He's actually in the box right now. So Edge will take the lead. There is still a bit of spray on this track, so I don't think it is still time to change to that tyre. As it'll get close, but I think Iraq Lobster's lost way too much time here. But we'll soon find out because the Ferrari is about to come out behind this whole pack of chasing cars. He'll be on those mediums. Yes, I'll certainly go to tyres now. So we've got 2 medium runners. Yeah, so it's still not dry enough. The Inters look like they're still keeping pace, or if not faster. As Paul and Hell makes the move on Flubber. So the track is still drying. Probably within the next lap or two, I would say, is the time to pit. So Woofer is into pits. He's come out on mediums, looking to make the undercut. Flubber has lost out another 2 positions. He's got no control on that car.
He's struggling now, isn't
Yeah,
he?
yeah. He was with Paul and Hell, and he's lost about 5 seconds to Paul and Hell. So
It looks like he's coming back into the pit lane.
Yeah, he is.
Back into the pit lane for Flubber. He's not going to throw some intermediates on now, surely.
Nah, you don't. I don't think you would. We'll see what he does.
He is. He's throwing intermediates back on. That is a waste of a couple of laps on some medium tires. Once you make that decision, you've just got to kind of suck it up, take your medicine, and just wait three laps maybe, because all he's done now is create himself a problem. He's dropped right towards the rear of this field.
Yeah.
He's going to be a good 40 seconds behind the leader. And that is exactly what it is. It's 39.5 seconds behind the leader, who is currently edge on 16-lap-old intermediate tyres in that Mercedes. China only 1.2 seconds off the back of him. Just keeping an eye on Iraq Lobster. Iraq Lobster's lost another 3 or 4 seconds.
He has. It's probably starting to ramp up. Yeah, he's off. Iraq Lobster's off of the course. He's just went onto the gravel. So it's definitely not time. It's probably not even close to time. The main indicator is obviously when DRS becomes enabled. It's pretty much that same lap. That's when you would want to come in and box. So maybe Flubber is thinking, you know what, I'll box for Inters and try to catch a couple of these back markers, considering he's known he's stuffed up with the mediums, because he was losing out multiple positions already.
Yeah.
And maybe just going to try to make it work for a bit longer. But
yeah, that would be the gamble, wouldn't it?
So that gap between Iraq Lobster and leader has went from 24 to 28 this lap.
Yeah, he's all over the shop. It just you can see when he's feathering that throttle. The back end is very unresponsive.
Yeah, I think it's probably the track temperature as well. Like the track's not even drying up barely anything. You can see the dry line, but all around the dry line, it's still a wet track. Even off the track there, you can still see it's wet. Someone is coming into the box. White Wolf has left the session. If you can please give him an invite. You got J-Man and Terry Tibbs boxing, so maybe the time is now, but there is still a lot of spray and puddles in that pit lane, so I highly doubt it.
White Wolf invite sent.
Back. Milano
on the back. White Wolf. Oh.
Milano is boxing as well, so he'll be in fresh air, obviously being the lap car. Flubber sets the fastest lap on those Inters. Terry Tibbs goes hards. Milano goes hards tyres as well. J-Man goes to mediums, so see if he is closing in time. Which he is not. He is losing time. He's overtaking his teammate, but these tyres, it's not the time. You can see his corner exits are bad. 8.6, 8.7. It's dropping dramatically. It's definitely not dry tyres. Way too early. If you were the front pack.
Oh, Flubber off into the wall. How has he come out of that with no damage? I have got no idea how Flubber don't have any damage. Oh my day. No, he hit the wall, and he hit the wall hard. Ski's actually let him through, so Ski Obviously come into contact with Flubber there, and Ski's gone, you know what, that's my bad. On your way, go through Flubber. So yeah, that's cost those guys a couple of seconds. They were chasing down Arat Lobster. They're only 1.9
Iraq
seconds
Lobster's
behind now,
pitting.
and Arat Lobster's in.
Yeah. I think if you're the front runners, I think you now react with inter tires. I don't think you just keep going. Like if you're China, you're Edge, you're Ninja, you've pretty much got. You'll probably come out P7, P8. Because these tires, 19 laps, they're probably cooking. They're
Hmm.
probably nearly at the time to burst. Because we saw
Yeah,
a
you'd
lot
have
of
thought so.
moments on lap 14, and it's now lap 19, so they're going on to lap 20. And we see one of the Red Bulls. No, he doesn't go into pits. But both Red Bulls, P5 and P6, we got a good job from them. Thunderball's up to P8. Flubber picks up another 3 second. I believe someone else picked up a 3 second at that same time. If I'm not mistaken, probably Milano.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Milano picked up 3
Yep.
as well.
Try leaving again, White Wolf. Restart your whole game and then join back. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. If it doesn't, then just sit and hope that it does give you control at some stage. Oh,
Oh,
it
DNF'd.
DNF'd you. That's another glitch with the game.
Yeah, unlucky White
So
Wolf.
he
That is unfortunate, my
will
friend.
he will receive 1 point as we normally do. Give that out. That is White Wolf heading off track. That is Milano stopped on the side. He is beached, I think. No, he's not. He's waiting for cars to go. He's going to get DSQ'd here. If he's not careful, he cannot be stopped for this long. I know he's letting people pass. That is probably not the place to do it. I'm surprised no DSQ come from that.
Yeah, he's coming back into the pit lane.
Yeah. Flubber
We
gets
might see him
past
call it a
J-Man.
day.
So we'll go back to tyres. So these mediums of J-Man, they're no good thing. I think
Oh,
he
Milano.
realised that. Milano speeds into the pit lane. But nah, I think this yeah, Milano retires. That's yeah, unfortunate. But we are still seeing the fastest laps occurring on these inter tires, so it is still not dry weather. Edge picks up a
Oh,
free
it's
second.
Edge.
That is his first.
Oh, Milano did call it a day in the pit lane as well. His car's come back out on the straight.
In front of the Aston
Yeah.
of
Out the way.
Terry Tibbs. He got out the way, yep. So you got Joe Beef, who's about to get... I don't know if he's about to get lapped again, or he's just getting lapped now. I think he's getting lapped again. Yeah, he'd be lapped again, because he's 1 minute behind Woofer.
Yeah, big mistake from Edge coming out of turn 1 has allowed China to get more traction and drive out of turn 1, down through turn 2, up the hill into turn 3, takes P1. But it's allowed Ninja to catch up as well. So we're going to have 3 drivers within about a second of each other, and then 8.8 seconds clear of Fish Lips after that terrible start for him in P4. A couple of Red Bulls flying in formation, then Dave and Paul in 5 and 6, with Filthy Orange 7, Thunderballs in P8, P9 it's the Williams and Sick Party, and then Flubber, the long-time leader at the beginning of this race,
There's
finishing
yellows.
up in the top
I
5. Yellows again.
don't know who that is this time. Is that Thunderball's lost more of his wing, or is that... No, he hasn't. I don't know who that was. That was really
I
weird.
think that was probably just Woofer getting out of the way. Woofer getting out of the way of a McLaren and a kick. So that
Oh,
would be...
yeah, that is true. That is true. Yep, that is correct. Alright, so there's 2 people looking to box here. It looks like it's both the Thunderballs and Filthy Orange. So they both come into the box. A bit fast there for Filthy. Yep, so you got 4 people pitting. So you have a double stack McLaren, I think. Potentially here. You know, he might be safe. They've
Yeah,
timed
he's
it
good.
perfectly.
Yeah, great timing.
Hard tyres. Is it still too early though? DRS is not open.
No DRS open. No.
Oh,
Oh,
perfect
it is.
timing.
There you go.
There you go. They've timed it to perfection. So now you'll see the leaders. I'd say China, Edge, Ninja, David, Paul, and Hell would all be boxing. Flubber also would be boxing. I would say. I think it is now time to call it a day. To go on to those
Hmm.
hard tyres. I would say all the way to the end.
Yeah, hard tyres to the end. I don't know whether that's a stretch or not. I think there's what 46 laps to go.
Yep. So now
Milano
you can.
hates rain.
The hards will go to the end. 100%. Filthy Orange picks up his first 3 seconds. So we're going to see a lot of 3 second penalties here. They're going to be coming out like no tomorrow. So Flubber is still on those inters. He'll probably be boxing this lap. Yep. Goes into the box. Comes in and he'll be having his third pit stop for the day. So unfortunately his stuff up earlier when going on to those mediums too early. But as it stands, China's created a big gap to Edge and Ninja.
Yeah, and he's also on the softer compound tyre as well. I'm not entirely sure those mediums will go to the end. We might get
They'll be
maybe
pushing.
30 laps out of them, I guess.
You'd have to
Uh,
absolutely nurse the tyres to
yeah,
make that
absolutely
go.
you would. But I guess 30 laps on a 100% race is round about right. You'd say 50% race, maybe 15 laps on the mediums. And of course, everything kind of doubles up when you go to the full race. But yeah, so China will be wanting to try and work on that gap. He's got Ninja 2.6 seconds behind as well on the same tyre compound. Oh, his Thunderballs on the hard tyre gets a little bit squirrely coming out of turn number 4. He's managed to keep it pointing in the right direction though, which is good for the McLaren. One of the championship protagonists we've got, of course, but yeah, looking still a little bit ropey there, coming through 8. A little bit of off-track action, loses some pace. Fishlip sets the fastest lap on the race at 10.5 as Sick Party picks up 3. Thunderballs picks up 3 as well for that cut of turn number 10. So penalties ahoy!
Yeah. So now it's just a matter of if Edge and Ninja can work together to catch China. I don't know if China's actually. I don't think China's won this season so far. So I'm going to check that. But yeah, we're seeing some big gaps starting to form. So Fishlips is in a world of his own. David is in a world of his own. And you've got J-Man and Filthy fighting for position here. P6 and 7, they go side by side. They get it. J-Man gets it done, but he will have to box again no matter what. He's on 7-lap old mediums, so they'll
Yeah.
be cooked right at the end. So I'll just have a
Just
look.
the interesting thing here as well would be to see what kind of time Flubber is managing to haul in, because obviously he had the great start in wet conditions. What's his pace going to be like on these hard tyres? They're fresh hard tyres, only 1 lap old. A gap of 27.5 seconds to China, who leads the race at the moment. So it'll be interesting to see if he can
I
put
think
some more time.
I think if he catches that gap 27.5, he is not Div 6. Especially with having to pass
Uh,
everyone as Paul and Hell picks up a 3 second. That is a
yeah,
huge, huge gap to catch.
it is a huge gap, but we have got 45 laps left to go. It's only half a second or so per lap to get back in the mix, and China will have to pit again, I would have thought. Edge with the penalty,
Yeah.
and then you've got Fishlips and David with the hard tie compound as well. So maybe that's more what he's going to be looking at. If I'm Flubber, I'm probably thinking right now about Fishlips and David, who are probably 14, 15 seconds in front.
I'm going to go for the call early. I'm going to say if there's no safety car or no incident, I think the top 3 will be Edge, Fishlips, and David. I think those mediums will
Hmm.
unfortunately fall off a cliff at about lap 50, 60. and by then the hards will be the superior tyre, and I think you'll find
Yeah.
that gap at the moment, 8.2 and 2.6 to Ninja Goo, will be closed pretty dramatically toward the end.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Titanic, thanks so much for the 6 bits. By the way, just saw those plopping into the chat.
Thank you, Kyotonic. But the interesting thing will be, do you think we'll get more rain? Or will it be just a complete dry race now? Because we did have in Div 4, it did dry up, but then it did rain again. It stayed pretty much overcast until the last 15 laps. So do you think we're going to get more?
Yeah, I fancy a little bit more spice, a little bit more wet stuff from the sky. Why not? Let's spice it up a little bit.
Yeah, and China's built a 3.2 second gap to Edge. So he needs to either keep trying to get those tyres absolutely burning. He's actually right behind Joe Beef, so he's getting the DRS from Joe Beef. Joe Beef picks up his first 3-second penalty, but I'm sure he'll be moving over to let China pass. So China says thank you very much for the DRS and the slipstream. Take the 0.6 seconds gained. Filthy Orange and J-Man still battling for position. Filthy Orange takes
Yeah,
position from J-Man.
Flubber not making any impact, by the way, on that leader time. Still 27 seconds. So I think he's losing a lot of time on the straight. So it feels like he's got a wet setup on. So that would account for that great start in wet conditions. I think he was probably hoping for the rain to last quite a significant amount of time. 27 and a half. That gap is now growing as China sets the fastest lap of the race with a 107.7. Which is relatively quick, I think, for this point in time.
Yep, also, FYI, China has not won a Division 6 race yet. He's gotten a podium many times, but unfortunately hasn't been able to step up top. So maybe tonight will be the night if those tyres can actually hold on. And with Edge obviously behind with those hards, and there's a 10-second gap now to Fish Lips from Ninja Goo, so that's actually increased. It was 8. Maybe we could see a first-time winner.
Yeah, that would be nice. Round 12. Interval times.
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, how's he holding pace with China, who's on... I think everyone's holding pace, though. The hards and mediums are pretty much probably the same temp, I would say, at the moment. And probably the same pace right now. I don't think they were a bit earlier. I think the mediums were quicker. But, yeah, I think just... This track is definitely... The medium and hards are pretty much similar in pace. It's just the distance they go are completely different.
Yeah, new fastest lap with Sick Party on the medium tyre. So Sick Party 7-lap-old medium tyre. DRS available as well, don't forget, guys. So, yep. Neither China nor Edge have got DRS. The only guys at the minute with DRS are Ninja, and then you've got J-Man a little bit further down with Sick Party, Paul in Hell teetering on the edge of gaining that advantage of DRS down the
Good evening,
DRS straights and zones. A little bit too much curve on the inside from Ninja Googe.
I'm just on battle. I'm on board with this battle with Sick Party, J-Man, and Filthy Orange at the moment. It's heating up down there.
Yeah, it looks like a real good tussle in that the top half of the midfield, I guess you'd suggest, with Filthy Orange trying desperately to haul in that 1.6 second gap to the back of the Red Bull of David, to try and get himself to a point where he can actually defend with a bit of DRS as well. 1.7 seconds the gap, though. He's actually managed to just drop J-Man out of DRS, and J-Man's defending with ERS down that long home straight. Sick Party, we may see Sick Party get this job done, though. Down through turn 2, up the hill into turn number 3. He's going to have a look on the inside as they go through turn 2. He's going to be on the inside later on the brakes, though, is the Haas. But the Haas is going to challenge back. Double dose of DRS, though, for Sick Party. He's going to fly through and get the job done nice and easy down into turn 4. And now all over the back of Filthy Orange as well there, Dynasty.
Yeah, that was a really good move. He pulled that car up really good. It's really good to
Mm.
see. He is another quick driver, and obviously the likes of Sick Party, J-Man, Thunderballs, and unfortunately losing White Wolf earlier in the race, and Iraq Lobster. All of them not having the best of night so far, but we're not even at half distance yet.
No, exactly. 33 of 71. Not even half race distance. Yellow flags in sector 3. Looks like it might be Woofer in the Ferrari, perhaps, who's let a couple of cars through. No, it isn't. It's Flubber. Flubber. Potentially a mistake there from the Ferrari.
I think it
As he
was.
now, yeah, he's now
Yeah,
32 seconds back versus the 27 he was before, and he's dropped right off the back of Thunderballs.
yeah, yeah. I think yeah. If the only way he would catch up now is if there is a safety car, but China's building that massive gap. Iraq Lobster picks up another 3 second, his first 3 seconds. Sorry. So we're seeing we've got only 6 drivers left without pens. So are we going to see the full grid of pens?
It's definitely potential for that. I have to say, this track turns 9 and 10. Obviously, if you cut at turn 3 where you're trying to make a move, you've
Ch-
got the exit of turn 1.
China is not waiting for anyone, by the way. He is 5.7 now in front of P2. He is
Yep.
catching Ski, so Ski will potentially give him DRS, so that would increase the gap. But this could benefit him a lot. So he knows that Edge has a pen, I would assume. You've got Fish Lips, who's about 17 seconds away from him. So if he was to box for softs at the end, or another pair of mediums, he would be probably down to P9, I would say. But that might be a good idea if he wants to try and, if these tires can't go to the end, maybe get um, an earlier pit stop in and swap tires and try to get the undercut if anyone else is going to box, or try to catch the pack again on fresh set.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Well, and whilst the Alpine and Mercedes are tussling behind him, that gap is just growing ever so slightly every single lap, up to 6.5 now. If we get another 10, I think probably a little bit more than that, maybe even 15 more laps on those medium tyres, Ninja will become the proverbial champagne cork in the bottle with Edge on the hard tyres, which will become better at some stage, ignoring blue flag for Joe Beef as he picks up another 10-second penalty that he'll have to serve. I would imagine he will... I don't think it really matters for Joe Beef. He's a long, long way behind now.
Nah, he's just going around hoping that someone else DNFs here. Because you never know. Like, yes, you're getting lapped, but you're always staying out to have a chance of getting points. And you never know, a late safety car could bring them all back in. I know he's lapped, but you just never know.
No, exactly. 7 seconds the gap, though. Dynasty. China's doing what he needs to do out in front. Are we going to see Edge making a move into turn 1 here? Is he going to save him for turn 3? So Edge right on the rear then of that Alpine in P2. So Ninja Googe and Edge. Rear wing wide open on the Mercedes. Doesn't seem to be closing this gap too much, though, up towards turn 3.
He's got a lot
Maybe
of
Edge has got himself a little wet set on as
he's
well.
he's got a lot of battery, so I'm surprised they're
Yeah,
not burning more. So Edge,
here we go.
yeah, he's burning everything to get past. But the thing is, they're losing time by doing that sort of thing. So going side by side there, that would cost them at least a tenth.
Yeah, they're not
To
really utilising this as a team, are they?
No,
That DRS zone from turn 1 through turn 2 up towards turn 3, they need to utilise that.
yeah. So one needs to go
Um,
in hot lap, one needs to stay in medium or something, and
yeah,
just start overtaking each other. But at this current stage, it's the ball's in China's court, really. As I said, he's got about 20 seconds now between him and P5. So If he was to box, he would probably come out just in P9, just in front of Thunderballs. So he may be looking to box later on if he can keep this gap up. So it's currently 7.4 as it stands. Woofer is in the box now. So he'll probably be going to hard tyres now, I'd say. I don't think he goes softs or another. Yep, he goes hard, so he'll go right to the end now. Sick
Yeah,
Party and
Filthy
Filthy
Orange is
Orange.
party. Yeah.
Yep, they're swapping positions. David's holding P5, which is good to see. Paul and Hell's holding P8 with J-Man right behind him, but J-Man definitely has the box. They will not go to the end. He'll need to pit. He's chilling. He's chilling. He's chilling. I don't know. I think the. Can we get a? If there's any engineers out there, can we get a tyre percentage on the medium tyres at the moment? If anyone's game enough to let me know, that'd be good. Only on 10%. Oh, there you go. Yep. You don't. Yeah, he won't have to box. Yeah, if they're only on 10%, I don't know if I believe that because they're 13 laps.
That doesn't
No,
feel right.
no, no.
I would
Prob
say more 25,
Yeah.
25% maybe right now, but I don't know. Who am I? I'm not sat in the engineer's box. We've got Filthy Orange all over the back of
100% now.
David looking to make a move. Looks on the outside, then the inside. So the Kick Saubers having themselves a good night so far. As Filthy Orange does indeed get past David. David will have DRS though on that run down towards turn number 4. Has a look on the inside, but looks like he's going to stick behind the Kick Sauber as these guys go into turn 4. And David now under pressure from Paul in Hell as well. On the hard tyre,
So
not
the hards are on
like
10% at the moment. So I would say the mediums would be probably somewhere in the middle of 20 to 25.
yeah.
Because I know the soft tyres are about 40% at about 14 laps. So I
This
would
feels
think.
almost like a little bit of mind games from the pit wall, and I kind of like that stuff. Mind games from the pit wall when we're just over halfway in a 71 lap race. I do
Well,
like
I
that
think
from the
that
engineers.
that shows you that the mediums are in fact more than 10% because J-Man pits off of 20 lap old mediums because if they were only at 10% he wouldn't be pitting, I would say, or 15% even. Nah, I don't believe it. I don't believe it. So Sick Party up to P7, David P6, Filthy Orange running out the top 5. So as you said, it's a brilliant night so far for the Kick Saubers, but will those mediums fall off a cliff? That's the question. We've got some people saying they're 13% wear. I disagree, but we'll wait and see. I would love to see China win, personally, because then that would be another winner for Division 6.
Yeah,
But
depends on driving style. Yeah,
it's good to see we've got some battles still happening on track, because by this time, I think Div 4 had only about 1 or 2 people battling each other throughout the whole race, because everyone else was gapped. But Filthy Orange has almost caught Fish Lips.
yeah, almost in that DRS, isn't he? And probably will be by the time they get to. No, he's not going to utilize any battery. He's gone hot lap on the ERS to try and close that down to under 1 second, but as they go through the detection zone, that will not be the case. So we won't have DRS down towards turn number 4 as they reach the pinnacle of the course, the track up at the top between 3 and 4 there. So he'll just have to wait a little bit of while and still coming under pressure, obviously from David and Sick Party, a lonely race for Paul in Hell and a lonely race for Thunderballs, who may well get Flubber for company if Flubber can get his act together on these hard tyres. It's kind of gone from he's gone from riches to rags almost after that start he had. Interesting to see how he copes with this last 30 laps.
Yep, I believe that Shifty, 13% left available. Here you go. Yeah, see, yeah, you're caught out. 19% wear now from 1 lap. No, cannot happen. But Iraq Lobster's on the back of Flubber, who Flubber is on the back of Thunderball. So we're going to see a a freeway battle here for P9. As we go back toward the top, Filthy Orange is in DRS of Fish Lips now. So that now makes a four-way battle for P4. But it's been a good race so far, Andy. Obviously, excluding lap 1, the last sector. It's been alright. We've had an unfortunate DC from White Wolf in a retirement due to the DC. Milano calling it a day when he was lapped, and Joe Beef has been trying to move out the way as quick as possible, which is really good to see. But other than that, it's been very clean.
Yeah, it's been a nice race. I think, obviously, with multiple penalties, quite a lot of the guys picking up 3. Flubber with 9, 6 for Ski. Joe with 16, unfortunately for him. I think it's been a really good race, a good showing from the Div 6 guys tonight. Some nice clean battles as well that we've seen. I think we're about to see another one with Flubber and Thunderballs up towards turn number 3 as they go around turn 1 for the 42nd time. And DRS, the wing wide open on the Ferrari of Flubber. Just doesn't seem to have the straight line pace, though. Might make a late move into turn 3. Has a look, but decides to back out. Probably a sensible move, that, from Flubber. Definitely a wet setup on. Otherwise, he would have flown by there.
Yeah, they're catching Pool and Hell, though. So this is about to be another four-way battle. Rock Lobster says thank you very much for the position.
Yeah, seemed to take his foot off the throttle there, Flubber. Almost relinquishing the position to a Rat Lobster. I don't know why.
Probably
that
trying to
happened,
hold
or...
the battery. He probably knew that he doesn't have the straight line. So he can probably save the battery here and let them two drag him along. Oh, that's a little bit of weaving there. Very interesting. Sick Party gets a free second. So I think that's his second one, or is that his first?
Yeah. That's 6 seconds for Sick Party. Yeah, you're absolutely spot on. Oh, we've got to go and have a bit something tasty happening into turn number 1 as Flubber flies past the Rat Lobster and Thunderbolt. Contact, though, at the back of the Ferrari from the Aston Martin. That is a
damage.
plate loss. We're 3 wide, down through turn 2.
This could go horribly wrong, but they get it done still. Thunderbolts falls in. No, he doesn't. He falls side by side with the Ferrari. But Iraq Lobster's now got damage to his wing. So that's going to hamper this whole section now. So they were starting to catch Pool and Hell, but all of that fighting just then held him up a fair distance.
Yeah, that's really hampered the race of the Aston Martin guy. Iraq Lobster. He will be struggling, and I would imagine that 3 seconds worth of penalties that he's got at the moment.
Ninja has boxed.
Wow.
So I don't think you guys are correct about the tyre wear for those mediums. I feel like they're about 40% at 20 laps. So Ninja's now trying to do the undercut, I would say, trying to get to China and Filthy Orange and potentially Sick Party as well.
Yeah, he's come out in P7. He's got Paul in Hell for company now as a Rat Lobster and Flubber exchange positions again. Off the track goes Flubber this time at turn number 3, so he hasn't managed to get the job done there. Thunderballs P10, P9 a Rat Lobster. 2.6 seconds off the back of Paul in Hell, who will now get the benefit of DRS from Ninja, of course. That will help him defend that P8. Ooh.
Those new hard tyres are kicking in straight away.
Yeah, that Filthy Orange then. P3, 14.2 seconds off the back of Edge then.
And he's 7.1 off of China, so that's a 21.5 second gap as we speak. Terry Tibbs pick up another 3 second penalty to his name. So there's a lot of pens happening. So these guys, if they can keep out of penalty territory, we could see a lot of movement here.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. I think what you said earlier on when you made the call about Edge, Fish Lips and David being the top 3, that still looks very much doable. But Ninja making the decision to stick those fresh, hard tyres on. Not a million miles.
No, you might rattle the cage a bit to that top three, I think.
Yeah.
I think that was the best
So what?
decision because he's cutting down the time to Sick Putty as we speak. Sick Putty will need to box. I think both China and Filthy Orange need a box. It's just a matter of if he can catch Fish Lips or David.
Yeah, for sure. And with Edge on penalties, is Edge? Yeah, only 3 seconds for Edge in terms of penalties. So he's flying at the minute, and Edge would be favourite to win from here on in, I think, with a little under 25 laps left to go.
Yeah, I think you're correct with that. Unless there's another a safety car or anything, that would change
Sure.
things up. Flubber picks up another 3 second. He is going side by side with Thunderballs. Thunderballs go side by side with Iraq Lobster. He falls back into line and Flubber retakes the position from Thunderballs. So looked like a lot of changing, but nothing really changed. Thunderballs still fighting for that position. They're still going side by side. Ski picks up another 3 second. But Flubber shuts the door on the McLaren.
Lovely move from Fish Lips on the exit of turn 4 through turn 5 to 6. Gets the move done on Filthy Orange, who's now under pressure from David. Those 22-lap-old medium tyres not doing the job that he needs them to do right this very second. And does that mean we're going to see Edge begin now to chip away at the 8.6-second lead of China out in front? And how far are these guys? The two Kick Saubers on the same strategy, on the medium tyre. How long are they going to last on that yellow rim there, Dynasty?
I think probably lap 55, I think. 56. Or
To throw some
actually no,
softs on?
probably lap 57. Yeah, box for softs. The softs fall off at about lap 12. They're not that great, but if you're definitely riding the mediums this long, then you've only got really one choice because you're not going hard to the end now. Or you put another pair of mediums. I think you can go mediums again if you've got a spare set.
Yeah, for sure.
But this gap, Ninja Goose closing to Sick Party. Sick Party's caught up to the whole 3, 4, 5, and 6. So that's going to be interesting. Milano has left. He's actually retired anyway, so that's fine.
Yeah, just looking at what SJ says in the comments there as well. 9, 10, and 11, Flubber, Iraq, and Thunderballs will need to work together to begin to close some of these gaps. Flubber now in the DRS of Paul and Hell. Oh, well, that was a mistake from Paul because he seemed to be quite a way in front. But Flubber, with the fastest lap of the race, now managing to close up towards the back of that Red Bull. Will they begin to make some moves? They can utilize Paul as well there. Ninja still not really making too much impact. 3.9 seconds off the back of Sick Party. Not really making too much of an impact, Hard Runner versus those really, really old mediums now.
Yeah, well, actually, Flubber and Iraq and Thunderbolt. Oh, I just caught that. I don't know if Paul Hill had a moment or Flubber forced it, but they did catch Paul and Hill, as I was just about to say. So they are now trying to close the gap to P7, but I think you'll find Ninja Goo will just keep increasing that gap. Filthy Orange, there you go. There's the Kick Sauber pitting. So I think you'll find that China is going to keep going, but I think they'll pull him in next lap potentially, or even keep going to go on those soft tyres.
Flubber picks up another 3 seconds. That might be 12 for him now. And it's 15 seconds for
15.
Flubber. So
yeah, that's
no matter the work he's doing.
Yeah. The amount of work he's catching is really hurting his race. Iraq Lobster picks up another 3-second penalty. Obviously, with that wing damage, doesn't help. So
And Ninja's just closed 2 seconds in one lap as well, by the way, on Sick Party. So that 3.7 has become 1.7.
China's going to go another pair of mediums here. This will put him with that pack with Flubber, Pool, and Hell Thunderballs.
Yeah, for sure.
Actually, he's way out in front of them. It's actually not really a bad pit stop here. He's only 11 seconds behind Edge. I think we have a new favourite to win the race. So China with the fresh set of mediums. 21 laps to go. He will catch Edge if he shows the pace he had throughout the first stint of this race. They just need to get Filthy Orange back up to a P5. And they'll be absolutely enjoying themselves, the Kicksabbers. We've got 21 laps to go. We've still got a four-way battle between Flubber, Pool and Hell, Thunderballs, and the Rock Lobster. And then we've got Terry Tibbs and J-Man fighting for P11 and 12. J-Man with no pens at all. So he'll be looking to try and overtake and potentially gain more positions.
I think I'm back. I had a little moment there.
Yep, you are.
Marvelous.
It's yellows. That is an
Yeah,
Aston
plenty
around.
of
There is an Aston around facing the wrong way. And Sick Party just came out the pits avoiding that. So he was very lucky to avoid that. That was Terry Tibbs and J-Man side by side, turn one. And it does not work. Yeah, if there is a safety car, a late safety car, that would spice things a lot, because you would have the likes of Edge, Flubber, Paul and Hell, Raklov, the Thunderballs, Filthy Orange, Sick Party, Terry Tibbs, Ski, Woofer, and Joe Beef, unfortunately not able to win because of those pens. So then it would be over to China, Fish Lips, Ninja, David, and J-Man to see if they can
yeah.
get the win here. But as it stands, this gap, it was 11, it's now 8.1, so I think you'll find China will be the favourite now to take this out. It's just a matter of
Yeah,
who
he
gets the
should
last
be.
podium. I think
He should be.
Ninja Goo is closing rapidly on Fish Lips to round out their top three.
Yeah, I'm looking at J-Man as well. He'll be praying for that safety car with no penalties.
Yeah. Well, he needs to try to either let Filthy Orange drag him up. Just do not fight him, and just let him drag you up. He's got pens, so if you can stick with him, he'll be one of the fastest cars on the grid. He'll drag you all the way up to these 6, 7, 8, 9, and he'll just jump all of them in one
Yeah.
sweep. Which they are. They're absolutely catching. So it's now 9.2. It was 10 seconds at the start of this lap. So all J-Man needs to do is burn to stick with him. It's 8.9. So yeah, he just needs to try and hold the back as long as he can. I don't know how long he can hold it for, but if he can catch up to these guys, he'll be gaining a lot of spots at the end. That gap to
Yeah,
leader
he's
is
going
now
to have Tick
6.4
Party
as
for
well.
company as well, by the way.
Yeah, China is absolutely flying. 6.2. So he's just cut off 2 seconds within 2 laps. So Terry Tibbs is boxing, I think that is. Yep.
Yeah.
And Ski's right behind him. So they'll be fighting for position, even though he's got 3 seconds more pens than him. You've got Edge, who's the other leading Mercedes behind them. But China is absolutely flooring it. And is there potential, though, that Ninja Goo actually steals P2 from Edge with those fresher tyres?
I guess there's potential. He needs another 12 seconds. 12 and a half seconds, in fact. 10 lap fresher tyres really closing in now on the back. Gets himself probably into DRS range as they head to lap 55 on Fish Lips. China absolutely relentlessly closing this gap. Another 2 seconds disappears. 4.5 now. The gap between second and first. Thunderbolts picks up another 3.
Yeah, I don't know what's happened there because they were within a DRS train of each other, so it's now dropped. So it's only him and Paul and Hell now with Filthy Orange and J-Man closing. So J-Man's holding on. He's got a lot of battery to use as well, so that's good. So he's getting carried on by Filthy Orange. So he'll be, at this stage, moving up spots. We got a Ferrari. I think that's Flubber. Into the pit wall. He comes back on track fine. He may have damage. Is that damaged wing? It is. Left end plate is gone completely. Misses the corner completely. Goes into the runoff. Comes back on track. Lets multiple cars go by, and that's pretty much his race. I would say done and dusted. He'll probably come into the box, swap the wing over.
Yeah, he's real struggling with that lack of end plate, isn't he?
Yeah. That gap to the leader now is 2.9 as well. Sick Party takes J-Man. And Ninja has caught Fish Lips for that P3.
Yeah, right on the... we might see him make some kind of move. And again, Ninja with reasonable amount of battery left, 51%. He will be looking to try and make the charge. 11.2 second gap. He's going to get this job done real early on the McLaren of Fish Lips as well, before they even got to turn 2. Never mind turn 3 at the top of the hill. So now clean air in front of the Alpine, but a half-second gap. It will be Fish Lips that has DRS down the hill. Is that going to help him catch back up? He will close into within about 3/10 before they get to turn 4, but then I would imagine that Ninja on these much fresher tyres will increase that time again as they go through 5, 6, 7, through 8, and then down 9, 10. Start a fresh lap.
Flubber has boxed as well. Edge is under fueled. He is on yellow fuel light, so he's probably hoping for that safety car, even though that would pretty much ruin his race with the time pen, because he'll need to let off heavily because we've still got 14 laps to go. So I don't know how much he's missing fuel. I'd assume it's a fair bit if it's already yellow. Don't know how long it's been yellow for. But I think you hand over to China. I don't think it's worth even trying to fight with him. I think it's...
No, I'd agree. I think China let China through, and then just trying to hold on to the back of him, utilising that DRS and that slipstream to try and save that little bit of fuel.
Yeah, as we see, Ninja Goo makes the move on Fish Lips. Ninja now up to P3. Can he catch Edge? At this stage, it's probably looking likely with that yellow fuel light. David is currently in P5 with a 4.9 second gap to Fish Lips. They are both on the same tyre wear pretty well. 1 lap difference. Sick Party and Filthy Orange changing positions. J-Man unfortunately has lost out DRS. But
and Edge does let China past as well.
But he did catch up to this pack by a fair bit. 1.6. So about 6 seconds behind Paul and Hell at the moment. So we'll go back to Pens.
2 into 1 doesn't go through the final turn. Filthy Orange and Sick Party battling through 9 and 10. Side by side.
That helps J-Man quite a bit.
Oh. Yeah, for sure.
Because J-Man now has DRS, so he'll be loving life. Oh, he didn't actually get it. I don't know how he didn't get it. Oh, wait. No, he did. He did, sorry. His wing is open. I was going to say, I don't know how he wouldn't have got it. But, yeah. So we've still got a couple drivers here without pens. So as it stands, there is currently 5 drivers who remain without a pen. Edge doesn't look like he's lifting. There's yellows. That is Joe Beef, I think, getting out the way. Yep.
Yeah.
Nah, the hards will be fine. The hards can go. We saw Matty AU taking 48, I think, 48 or 49 laps or something like that, or some absurd amount. They'll be fine. They'll be terrible at the end, but they'll definitely go the distance. Whereas these mediums, once they reach the peak of this race, they will be probably shot as well. As Filthy Orange and Sick Party still changing position, that means J-Man's just still holding on, getting dragged up closer and closer. So I said it was a 6-second gap to Pool and Hell at one stage. It's now only about 4. So he's loving this. He's saving his battery as well. Just getting dragged closer and closer every lap that goes by. Edge still needs to
Yeah, and
lift.
at this rate, he will jump up. If he can hang on to the back of these guys, he'll jump up into P6.
Yep. Another driver who's close to running out of fuel is Terry Tibbs. And that is the only 2 that, and of course, on board with him when he gets a free second. Nah, I don't think he'll come from that far back with a pen. I think you got David, Fishlips, Ninja Goo, potential to get podiums here. I think Ninja Goo definitely gets a podium, whether it's second or third, depending if Edge lets off. Because he'll probably, I would say he'd be better off letting his teammate by. Otherwise he'll just be holding him up, even though he's lapped. Sick Party and Filthy Orange still fighting for that position. Flubber, another 3 second. So I'm pretty sure that's 18 or 21. 18. So the more he's trying to catch up, the more time he's losing with the pens. Handy. I think we've lost Andy again, so I'll just keep continuing. So China, this will be his first win. He's only got 11 laps left, or 10 laps left. So 11, this one including. He's currently 5 seconds ahead of P2 and 15 or 16 in front of P3. So without mistake or safety car, he will go on to win this race. It's just a matter of who fills those last 2 podium positions. As Edge is still on the yellow fuel light, so I think he might be in real big trouble here.
Yeah, he's definitely let off, hasn't he? 6.2 seconds now. He's lost 4 seconds in the last couple of laps, so...
Yeah. Oh, it's now not... Oh, it's now hovering on that yellow, so he's let off enough. Probably still needs to let off a little bit more. Potentially... Terry Tibbs hasn't. He's on hot lap as well, so he's probably going to run out of fuel as well if he doesn't let off. So as it stands, Sick Party and Filthy Orange still fighting for that position. But they are catching. They're 1.5 now from Thunderballs and Pool and Hell. And guess what? J-Man is there and he's overtaking Sick Party as we speak. Oh, someone gets it horribly wrong. Sick Party's wing is gone. So that will be a pit stop for the man, the Sick Party, I would say, unless he just decides to hold the back of him. He's almost been going to spice things up there. Almost saw a repeat
I thought
of
that
Div
might
5.
have been... Ended up with some kind of safety car moment there at the end.
Yeah, Paul and Hell picks up another 3 second. So as it stands, pre-pens, obviously pre-race stewards, J-Man will jump up to P5, almost P6, if he can still close this gap to Iraq Lobster. Sick Party, with that damage, now is dropping off a lot. So he just has to probably just bring the car home from here. Just hope there's some carnage up the front.
Yeah.
And I think J-Man just needs to he's not going to go any higher than P6 or P7. Probably just needs to chill out behind this pack and let them drag him along. Edge is still flashing on that yellow. So I think at this stage Ninja will catch the back of Edge maybe with that 3 second.
Yeah, that fuel light's gone out, by the way, on that Mercedes.
Yeah, it's flashing. It's flashing.
Oh, now
So
it's back again. Yeah.
Terry Tibbs is still solid, so he will probably run out at about lap 69, 70 because he has not let off. He's kept a hot lap the whole time. Thunderballs picks up another 3 seconds, so that will drop him down currently as it stands below Sick Party. Do you think we're going to see any safety cars? Oh, late in this race, Andy. Potentially it might be Josh, but he's just caught the back of J-Man again. He's doing good to keep up. So we've got 6 laps remaining. China just needs to bring this car home now. He's got a lapped car in front of him who will move out his way. Probably down this straight, I would say he'll move, maybe. Or maybe not. But Edge following behind in P2 with his teammate of ski in P14 right behind him. So he's lapped, but he's trying to drag him along to try and get to maybe within some of these penalties to people. Ninja Guru as it stands currently P3, but he's closing that gap. Filthy Orange and Thunderbolt swapping positions in the hairpin. Losing time to Iraq Lobster though. So currently as it stands, we've got a 4-way battle here for P7. J-Man obviously without the pens. But this is going to be a very, very spicy toward the end. Thunderbolts makes a move on Filthy Orange. J-Man looks for the move on Filthy Orange. Well, they go side by side. There's a little bit of contact, but all is well. They're still going side by side up the straight. They've both got the DRS. Who burns the most? I'm pretty sure it is J-Man who's burnt the most. It certainly is. He's gone none. Makes the move done, but he is very low on battery, so I would think that Filthy Orange may take this position back if he burns a little bit more. Yep. Thinking about it. No, he does not. He files back in.
Yeah, sorry, buddy, I'm back.
That's okay. That's okay. Edge is on yellow fuel light again. Solid this time.
Yeah, is Ninja going to get this job done then? 6.5 seconds. Needs 3. Oh, there it goes. 6 seconds now for Edge. Wow. So Ninja.
Driver of the day, yes. We have to...
Oh, no. J-Man with what looked like a hell of a lunge at turn number 1. Punted Thunderball off into the wilderness. Filthy Orange gets the job done. Oh, J-Man desperately trying to hang on. He's not going to. The Red Bull runs into the back of him, I think. Now it's all to play for down towards turn number 4, but it's going to be pressure from Paul in hell round the outside at turn 4.
Gets it done.
Leaves plenty of racing room. Oh, God, this is getting tetchy.
Yeah, and as it stands, Rakolob's now free with that 6 second of penalties, so he will not be jumped at all. So he'll stay P6 as it stands. Edge, so obviously with that 6 seconds plus, still needs to let off. Ninja Goo will get him. With obviously if he does bring this car home. Fish Lips probably too far back now to get a podium, but you never know. Stranger things have happened. Yeah, so driver of the day. I think driver of the day can go to one of us, Andy, for sitting through 71 laps without a safety car.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. My vote for driver of the day has got to be China. What a fantastic race from him. Really has kind of thrown it down.
Yeah, I agree with you. Obviously, probably can't vote for the same person, so I will probably go with Ninja Goo. I think that earlier pit stop than the rest decided that he was going to get the podium, which was a very, very good strategy. I think he deserves an honourable mention. So
Yeah, for sure.
I'll vote for Ninja, and I think you vote for China. I wouldn't be phased if it is China winning driver of the day. He's stormed off and well deserved winner and driver of the day in my opinion. Uh, but I think a close second would be Ninja. Um,
Yeah, I agree.
yeah, and or David. David's had no issue tonight down there in P5. Just done his own race, kept out of trouble and soldiered on. So now the question is, are we going to see someone run out of fuel and who will it be first? So if we have anyone who can put up a prediction, can we put a Edge or Terry Tibbs to run out of fuel first? So it's a 50-50 chance because they're both on solid yellow. Yeah, I can probably do a poll. Give me a second. Maybe, if my phone lets me. You know what? It's not letting me do a poll. If people in the chat, if you can let me know who your driver of the day is, I'm sure we can see how many people have chose. So it's either China or Ninja Goo. Yeah, so already there's 5 people saying China, one person saying Ninja Goo. Yeah, he's in a league of his own tonight. So we are on lap 71, and we have a flashing red fuel light for Terry Tibbs. And the fuel light is still stuttering for Edge. I don't think... No, he's not. So Terry Tibbs is still on lap 70, I think, if I'm not mistaken. China... Yeah, so China hasn't lapped him yet. So Terry Tibbs will run out of fuel. He's already flashing red with more than a lap to go. David makes the move on a Rock Lobster. We're going to stay on board with China coming around the final couple corners into sector 3. He just needs to bring the car home now. Just ease it home. There's no need to do anything drastic here. Brings it all the way to the line. Brings home his first win in Division 6. Well done, China. P2 as it stands on track. And that is Terry Tibbs running out of fuel. Yep, he is solid red. Edge will bring it home on track for P2, but Ninja Goo will take it. P3. Fish Lips will come home in P4. David will be P5. Iraq Lobster will stay P6. J-Man, I think, will jump orange potentially here into P7. No, he will not. He'll stay P8. Thunderbolt's P9. Sick Party and Paul Hill fighting to the line. Sick Party gets it for P10. Flubber bringing home in P12. Terry Tibbs, unfortunately, still bringing it home, but he is completely out of fuel. And there goes Andy. I think he has DC'd. He certainly has. It's fine. We still continue on. Slowly bringing home in the points in P13. Hasn't been lapped yet. He's still not being lapped. He comes to the line, and he is the last driver to cross the line. And there you have it. There is our race in Austria, ladies and gentlemen. Alright, I'll get these drivers in. Just bear with me, guys. I'll quickly get these provisionals first. So we've got China P1, Ninja Goo P2, Edge P3, Fish Lips, and David rounding out the top 5. And then we've got Woofer, Ski, Terry Tibbs, Flubber, Paul and Hell, and Sick Party rounding out the 10 to 15 area. So there you have it. That's our 71 laps completed here at Austria. So brilliant effort from the Div 6 boys. So that was really good to see. A lot more cleaner than normal, which is really good to see. So I'm just going to get these boys in for a chat. Give me a second. For some reason, flash that. Alright, so we're just waiting for these boys to join the comms box. Hopefully they join soon. Trying to find the gentleman who did come in P2 in Ninja to see what his EA name is, or Discord name, because I cannot seem to find it. Is IO's... Sorry, lads. Alright, hopefully these guys are in the comms box now. They are not. Still waiting for them to join. Give them a couple minutes, but it's been a really good race. Yeah, no, there was only one VSC, which was very interesting. So no big incidents on track other than lap 1, sector 3. But everyone is in. Very good, very good. I'm going to make this short, sharp, and shiny. So we are going to go from P3 up to P1. So we'll start with Edge, because he did fall down to P3 after Pens and after nearly running out of fuel. Edge, are you there, mate?
Yeah, I'm here, man.
All right, good talk. All right, how did your
That's all we need to say. Yeah.
how did your 71 laps go? Obviously, it was raining at the start. Did you find it uncomfortable to begin with, or what was the plans for the race?
Nah, look, in all honesty, it was with a slight tweak of the dry setup, it made the wet so much more enjoyable. And China and I actually had a really good battle in the wet, so I'm pretty happy with that. I think my pace in the wet showed where I could be and proved the result. A little bit of a silly pen in the wet would have probably kept me P2, but It's unfortunate. Unfortunately, that's what happens in these sorts of races, and you got to live with it.
Yeah, still good good points overall. Obviously you still take a podium over a DNF or not on the podium sort of thing. So still not such a bad result. But yeah, well done on tonight's race, mate. And I'll let you go back to the Mercedes garage.
Cheers, man.
All right, so that was P3. Now we'll move on to P2. So Ninja Googe, aka IO Sky Fan, how are you, mate?
I'm doing good.
Very good effort, mate. Obviously, you decided to pit earlier than those in front to go to those hard tires, and it worked. Yeah, you made yourself back up to P2 and didn't look didn't look back. So well done, mate. What was the strategy going into the race? So obviously, did you know it was going to rain, and did you choose a wet setup, or did you just go for a dry and hope for the best during that wet period?
Um, so I didn't really have a plan in the beginning. Um, I did see that it would rain, but I decided to still go with a dry setup, hoping that it would stay or it would go to dry, which it did, so that's good. But yeah, from qualifying in the wet or in the dry to going into wet weather was difficult.
Yeah, no, it definitely looked a bit weird for some stage of that race there because there was a lot of people boxing a little bit too early for those dry tires when it wasn't a dry track. There was still a lot of spray and DRS wasn't activated till about probably 10 laps after the rain had stopped. So brilliant effort from you, mate, and I'm sure the Alpines will be very proud of a P2 finish.
Yep.
And yeah, I'll let you go, mate. All the best.
Thanks.
All right, that's all we have time for. Nah, I'm kidding with you. We have P1 in the comms box. China, how you going, mate?
How we going, Dynasty? That was a great race. Not just for coming first, but I think we all did really good in that race. That was awesome.
Oh yeah, that was brilliant. There was barely anything on track. No, there was probably one or two incidents, one lap one and then one later on, that potentially could be reported, but it was very much more cleaner than I thought it was going to be. So that's really good to see, considering that mid stint of weather, where people were swapping between mediums and inters and not knowing what to do. But you had the strategies down pat and pretty much ran away with it for your first win. So well done, mate. Walk us through it. Was you nervous heading into the final stint of the race, or was you that confident that you were going to get to edge and claim the lead and go off into the distance?
Yeah, look, yeah, tracking down Edge was a little easier than I thought, but obviously he was conserving fuel, so just took maximum advantage of that, and yeah, pushed ahead as best we could. I think going onto the mediums when the DRS was enabled, that was the right move, and that came from engineering. So yeah, the boys did really well tonight, providing guidance there, and it sort of meant that I got through with yeah, I think I had about 32% or something on the tyres at the end. So yeah, really good strategy overall.
Yeah, you seem to have the pace all night tonight. It was just a matter of when you were going to get off those first lot of mediums, because I had your engineers telling me they were only on 10% on lap 13, which I don't think that was right. But no, you called it absolutely
uh,
perfect, mate. It was really good to obviously see you winning. You haven't won yet, and you've been very close sometimes, and obviously a lot of podiums and yeah, just been very consistent all year. So, what's your plans going to next week? Are you looking to try and go back to back, or is this just a flash in the pan type moment to get to the P1, or what's the plans moving forward?
Oh, look, mate. Yeah, same for this week. So I did put a lot of time into the track, just sort of yeah, working out where I could sort of yeah make best use of my skills. I noticed that yeah, the wet races were coming up pretty often, but I don't think we'll have that same benefit for me next week. So yeah, mate, just lots of practice and seeing how it can be most competitive.
Yeah, no, that's the main thing. That's all we ask everyone to be. Just be competitive. Even if you bring home bottom end points, you're still bringing home points for that team. That's the main goal really. So obviously next week we move over to Texas. So another pretty weird track, especially with the S's. I know it's
It
very
is.
pen worthy. So you were one of I think it was 4 or 5 drivers not to receive a pen tonight. So that's very well done. But also you got driver of the day. So that is
Oh,
another
that's amazing.
bonus as well. So, nah, brilliant effort, mate. I'll let you go back and celebrate it with your TP, but congratulations on your win, mate.
Thanks so much. Thanks, Tennessee. See ya.
See you, mate. All right, so that will do it. Unfortunately, Andy did leave pre-interviews. I don't know if he dropped out or whatnot, but it's is what it is. Yeah, we move on to round Div 3 Austria tomorrow night. I'm probably going to be the host again. I'm not sure yet, but we'll wait and see. But I was your host, Dynasty Sparrow, and as I like to say, hello.